Welcome to Marstrand, the venue for the third stage of the Alpari World Match Racing Tour 2012 STENA Match Cup Sweden. This is one of the most popular sporting events in Sweden, with over 100,000 spectators arriving here every year to witness both the picturesque surroundings as well as all the sailing action taking place on the water. But first, here's a quick recap of the tour so far. STENA Match Cup Sweden is stage 3 of 8 taking place across the globe on the Alpari World Match Racing Tour. The 12 skippers will be battling it out for the $140,000 prize purse, racing head-to-head in DS37 match races.
Match racing is the most gladiatorial sailing discipline. It pits two boats against each other on a very short racecourse. The two teams battle for advantage during a 4-minute period before the start gun, then sail upwind to the top mark where they hoist spinnakers. Turning back downwind onto the run to the leeward mark, the spinnakers must be dropped for the second lap. The races usually last 2 or sometimes 3 laps, and the action is umpired on the water using a system of flags. Each boat is assigned a colour, either blue or yellow, and the sailors raise a red and yellow flag to protest if they think their opponent has broken a rule. The umpires announce their decision, raising the appropriate blue or yellow flag to signify the boat that has offended. If a red flag is raised as well, it means the infringement is more severe, and the penalty, turning the boat through 3/4 of a circle, must be taken immediately. Otherwise, the penalty can be taken any time before the finish. The first to cross the finish line is the winner.
Event 3 on the Alpari World Match Racing Tour, and all 9 of the tour card holders are here, hoping to secure some valuable points towards the overall title. After 2 events, Bjorn Hansen of Mekonomen Racing sits at the top of the leaderboard, level on points with new tour card holder Pierre-Antoine Morvan. It's still all to play for though, with reigning champion Ian Williams not far behind in 3rd place and looking for his first win of the season. Bjorn Hansen is back on home shores though, and with the Swedish support behind him, has a great chance to build on his win at the Career Match Cup.
We're in Sweden, in Marstrand, on the Swedish west coast. It's actually the best match racing venue in the world, I can promise you that. I did my first Match Cup Sweden in 1994, and I just keep loving coming back here. It's starting to get really interesting and important on the tour, because guys who have not picked any points yet on the scoreboard are really feeling the pressure and needs to do some good results. For us, who won the last event in Korea and we're in top on the leaderboard, we feel that we really have a good chance here to do some good results. Still, we don't really feel the pressure. We can go here and have some really, really fun days. I would say that it's definitely an advantage to be Swede in Marstrand, because it can be up to 10,000 people on the shore. It's almost like playing in a football arena or something like that. We definitely come here to try and win the event. We know that it's 13 other good teams here, so it's going to be very, very hard to win the event. But the way we have started the event and the way we are sailing and the way the guys on board are working, it feels fantastic, and I think we can have a good shot at it, but as I said, it's going to be difficult.
After 3 qualifying sessions, competition for top spot is tight. 5 of the 9 tour card holders are neck and neck, with tour veterans Bjorn Hansen and Peter Gilmore leading the pack on 8 wins each. The final qualifying session would prove decisive. We join Hansen in his first match of the day against new tour card holder Keith Swinton in the race for top qualifying spot and first pick for the quarterfinals.
Come on! That was not his way out. Wide up. We're responding exactly when he's on proper course. Hard turn, boys. Hard turn. Hard turn.
Bjorn Hansen leading the Apari World Match Racing Tour here into leg 3 here in Sweden.
No way. No way. Look at me. Look at me. Segla. Coming right.
Hansen calls sailing. The umpires go green flag. We have a split tack start. Keith Swinton moving out towards that right-hand side. I think Bjorn perhaps leading the speed build, and Keith Swinton there not laying the boat and having to tack. That will cost him dearly. A down speed tack. So costing him extra distance up the course as Bjorn Hansen leads over towards this left-hand side. And there's Bjorn Hansen. He opens up the Lotus clock on Keith Swinton. Both boats now setting their spinnakers and powering off onto leg 2. This is the run down to the bottom mark on lap 1. So Bjorn tacks and Keith Swinton tacks, and we're coming back together. Now as the boats close, was that a mistake from Bjorn Hansen? Are we going to see Keith Swinton stronger than he was? My eye says yes as I look out the commentary booth onto the racecourse. It looks like Keith Swinton has made inroads into that lead. And Keith Swinton now 2 lengths ahead of Bjorn Hansen as we approach this final second top mark in what could be a crucial matchup of this qualifying round here at the STENA Match Cup Sweden, Apari World Match Racing Tour. They're a healthy lead to Keith. Capitalising not once but twice on that beat to come back against Bjorn Hansen and now lead this match. Bjorn Hansen looking over his shoulder, he's looking for a way back into this match. Where is that next gust going to come from? And it is Keith Swinton now, the young Australian, right at the top of the leaderboard here in this qualifying round. He comes down through the line, there's the yellow flag. He has won this matchup against Bjorn Hansen. I think probably a decisive match between these two skippers to define who will be able to win the group stage here at the STENA Match Cup Sweden. It is Keith Swinton that has won, and Bjorn Hansen just has to look on.
Starting to responding as soon as he is on closed hold. Did you think I should continue instead? I responded exactly when he was on closed hold.
We came off the start slightly behind, but they had a penalty. So obviously it was just a matter of keeping it close for us, and around the bottom gate mark we split tacks, and we managed to pick up a little bit of a wind shift on the left side of the course, and yeah, managed to take the lead from that, and from there we did a pretty good job to stay ahead. And obviously when they have a penalty it makes life a little bit easier, so we're pretty happy with that, and 2 more races and then quarterfinals.
So with that loss, Hansen would need a win in his next race, a grudge match against Ian Williams.
Hey, brothers!
Both boats turn. inches between the two as these skippers vie for ascendancy.
Williams sailed with aggressive tactics and it paid off as he went on to take the race.
It is Ian Williams all the way. Super smooth sailing from JC Pindar.
It was a very tricky day with the wind coming from inside, and but it feels like a little bit like whatever we did, it was wrong. I mean, we still feel that we're sailing pretty well, and everyone in the team wants to show that we are better than the result showed today.
With Hansen now out of the running, the top spot was now Peter Gilmore's to lose. We join him in the final flight of the qualifying session, a deciding match against Phil Robertson of WAKA Racing.
Ready to roll?
Phil Robertson from New Zealand up against Peter Gilmore, 7-time winner of the STENA Match Cup Sweden. Now, is this a big left-hand shift we're seeing here? So there's the gun. Phil Robertson tacks to try and cover Peter Gilmore over towards that right-hand side. There we can see a massive shift has come down the course. Massive left-hand shift. You can hear Peter Gilmore and those guys hadn't picked up on it. They led all the way down into the box, and that a tricky start for both boats.
Right here, so yeah. Okay, go hoist.
Champagne sailing all the way as Phil Robertson leads Peter Gilmore around this top mark.
Yeah, pole away before it, right gate. Hold, slide, okay?
Phil Robertson doing a nice job of defending against Peter Gilmore here.
Driving in 3, 2, 1, driving. Keep it set.
Ease, Terry.
Go.
I'm going left gate.
Go
left
drop.
Gate.
Drop.
Ease, Terry. Ease, Terry. Ease, Terry.
3,
Ease. Two boats.
Two.
Two boats.
1, winding
boats.
up now.
Now,
Looking at attack in 15.
Phil
okay?
Robertson is taking that gate. Peter Gilmore's going to go for the other one. Now, with that shift, I'm nervous that this other gate is a little further downwind. That'll mean Peter's got to sail extra distance.
Second and 10. 3,
For me, they're
2, 1, roll away.
Peter Gilmore and WAKA Racing, perhaps
On out haul, guys.
1, and up.
Out
going
haul.
for the other mark. Now, they were 1 or 2 lengths behind going in. Will there be 1 or 2 lengths coming out? I think it might be advantage Phil Robertson here as both boats exit.
Robertson read the wind shift well, proving decisive as he led all the way to the finish.
Yeah, it got a little bit interesting in this stuff when it's really shifty like this. I think if you're a long way ahead, it just gets really tricky because you want to stay in touch with them, but you've also got to keep playing the shifts, and we probably got caught in between doing that, I think, halfway up that second beat, and yeah, and he got a lot really close, I guess, at the top mark, and that's when it probably gets a little bit more comfortable as well because you're in the same kind of phase as him all the time. So yeah, it was a good race.
So with that win, Phil Robertson just topped the qualifying stage over Peter Gilmore of WAKA Racing thanks to the countback, leaving him with the advantage of first pick for the quarterfinals. However, with 2 of the teams on 10 wins and 4 of them on 9, the skippers here at STENA Match Cup Sweden are on fire. New tour card holder Pierre-Antoine Morvan and Ruben Corbett of AON Racing also progress with 5 wins each, while Simona Ferrarese and Laurie Jury failed to progress. Day 5 and we're into the quarterfinals. In the first tie, Phil Robertson of WAKA Racing chose to race fellow Kiwi Ruben Corbett after topping the qualifying group.
I think there were about 5 teams on 9 and 10 wins, which is a lot here. You had Ruben who scraped it on 5 wins, so yeah, I think he's won half the amount of races we have, and I think looking at the field and looking at everyone's strengths, he's probably got the weakest team at the moment, and there's definitely a lot of, I guess the boys would call it pride at stake, but no, he's a very good sailor, so it will definitely be a tough one to say the least, so we'll go out there ready to race as hard as we can.
Racing was tight in their first match. We join them on the second upwind leg, where Corbett has the edge over Robertson.
Go boys, big height, might cross.
Now I think Phil Robertson's going to have a shot at crossing here. I wonder if Ruben Corbett can use the other match. We can see another match just tracking across the bow of Ruben Corbett. There it is, coming into shot. Now, will that boat go up and affect the breeze of Phil Robertson?
Okay, coming on now, go on. Yeah, on.
Here comes Ruben Corbett, he's tagged. Now can Phil Robertson cross? This is the match right here. If Phil Robertson can cross, he'll have the advantage. No, he can't. Ruben Corbett has a piece.
Going tacking,
will have to tack away. Phil Robertson tacks right back now. Has Ruben Corbett got the space to tack back and get him on starboard?
Tacking.
Yes, he does.
Give me room here. Hey.
We have an umpire decision.
Going back.
Ruben Corbett only just having enough time to do that. Phil Robertson
go, Jim.
A blue penalty, so that is a penalty to
just
Ruben
big speed
Corbett.
build. Okay, winding on now. What is it? Just blue.
So a mistake there from the young New Zealander. He sailed a faultless match to now, but just jamming that tack in when he didn't have enough room. Be a little too quick to tack away. Ruben trying to get across, one last ditch attempt to dive across the bow of Phil Robertson.
Hey, what are you doing?
I think we're going to see.
Keep the boom out. Hey, come on, that's just stupid, Ruben. Come on, mate.
So, Ruben Corbett getting another penalty just through chance to the win there in the dying seconds of that race. We can't blame him for that. Trying everything to get back into the match, but instead incurring a double penalty. So some excellent sailing from both boats, but it's Phil Robertson that holds it together, closing that match out at the top of the beat, going out on to sail to the win in this first quarter-final matchup here at the STENA Match Cup Apari World Match Racing Tour.
It was a close second match as well, with Phil Robertson incurring 2 penalties, yet managing to perform them and go on to make it 2-0. In the end, the 3-0 scoreline didn't reflect how tight the tie was, but Robertson took the final match to book the first spot in the semi-finals. Quarter-final tie number 2 would be an all-Australian affair between Peter Gilmore of Yanmar Racing and Keith Swinton of Black Swan Racing. Gilmore took the first match before Swinton pulled one back in the second.
That is a penalty to Peter Gilmore.
In the end, though, it was Gilmore who carried on his top form, winning the next 2 and looking a strong contender as he progressed to the last 4.
Here comes Yanmar Racing, they're coming up to the finish.
Okay, good work, boys. Let's stop.
And Peter Gilmore defeats Keith Swinton in this final quarter-final round.
Well, that's it, over for us. Pretty disappointing.
Quarter-final 3 would be the crowd's favourite, an all-Swedish matchup of Bjorn Hansen of Mekonomen Racing and Johnie Berntsson of the Berntsson Sailing Team.
It's just gloves off. I mean, it's fun racing against Bjorn and his team. They're always on performing very good, so it's going to be some exciting racing, I think.
Yeah, we're just going to go for it. We know that the team that has the best day will proceed to the semi-final, so we're just going to try and go out, be calm and do our work.
Hansen stormed into a 2-0 lead in 2 nail-biting matches. This left him on match point, with Berntsson fighting to stay in the competition. We join them in the pre-start of match 3.
Johnie Berntsson, I think, not quite managing to control that lead. Now having to do that tack, I think we'll see him tack back. Can Bjorn Hansen claim that left-hand side from here? Only 9 seconds to go. Johnie Bernttsson's going to either get the better of the start or he's going to be early.
Come up, come up, come up.
There, Johnie Berntsson just nipping around the bow of Bjorn Hansen now. Will the umpires view that as an infringement?
Okay, gå vi här. Gå här.
So Johnie Berntsson, I think, getting the better of the starts there. Very risky positioning from him, but him just managing to nip around the bow of Bjorn Hansen. But no, there's the blue flag. That is penalty, Johnie Berntsson. I think the umpire's deciding that that was too close. So he has the lead, but he also has a penalty in this must-win match for him here. So Johnie Berntsson has that right-hand side, he's in phase. But let's not forget, he's a penalty down. So he needs to try and extend. So, possible opportunity to offload his penalty. Johnie Berntsson stays on starboard. Does not round the mark. He's got to be careful. Bjorn very close to being able to get that turn in. His boat's able to spin on a tuppeny. And actually some excellent sailing from Johnie Berntsson. He's able to hold Bjorn Hansen head to wind with his stern. And now lead the turn extensively away. That will buy him a couple of boat lengths. Bjorn Hansen is slow and he's late into the hoist. Some excellent sailing from Johnie Berntsson at the top of that mark to perhaps extend away. Snatch a bit of security for himself as they come onto the run. For me, he actually has enough distance to do his penalty already. So Johnie Berntsson coming in from the right-hand side. He managing to offset that penalty in an instant just before the coming together. Bjorn just holding Johnie Berntsson head to wind. Trying to prevent him from getting an inside overlap at the mark.
Hey, 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 he's attacking boat there, guys.
Johnie Berntsson and Bjorn Hansen both simultaneously attacking. I think we'll see a green for that.
But what about the contact, guys?
Bjorn so fired up here. Johnie Berntsson now rounding the mark. Bjorn Hansen now hoisting to follow.
Now we have room.
The question mark is, how was this overlap formed? Bjorn Hansen diving in at the mark. Johnie Berntsson, I think, believing Bjorn Hansen has no room. And holding and pushing him all the way here. Shock, Johnie Berntsson actually getting a penalty. I think the umpire's deciding perhaps luffing too quickly, or Bjorn Hansen did have room. For me, that perhaps a harsh call on Johnie Berntsson. I think they did enter the two-length circle, perhaps unoverlapped, so Johnie Berntsson going for one final ditch attempt. I think he needs to just focus on building speed and getting out of this top mark. So disaster strikes for Johnie Berntsson. Exiting the mark, he was ahead. He'd managed to get rid of his penalty. It was some smooth sailing into this incident. And as he leaves the mark now, he's a behind and a penalty down. So really disaster for the Swede as we come down this final run on what is a must-win match for him. That very costly mistake at the top from Johnie Berntsson has cost him the match. Excellent sailing from Bjorn and his Mekonomen Sailing Team. Congratulations, we have our second quarter-finalists here at the STENA Match Cup.
In the fourth quarter-final, reigning Alpari World Match Racing Tour champion Ian Williams showed his strength by beating new tour card holder Pierre-Antoine Morvan 3-0 and booking his spot in the semi-final. So here is confirmation of the quarter-final results at STENA Match Cup Sweden 2012. Progressing to the semi-finals are Phil Robertson of WAKA Racing, Peter Gilmore of WAKA Racing, Bjorn Hansen of the Mekonomen Sailing Team, and Ian Williams of GAC Pindar. The competition is getting intense now as we enter the semi-final stage. The four skippers still in contention are Phil Robertson of WAKA Racing, who chose to race Peter Gilmore of WAKA Racing, and local hero Bjorn Hansen, who faces three-time Tour champion Ian Williams. In a rerun of the Career Match Cup final, Hansen versus Williams would guarantee fireworks right from the word go.
Well, it's the semi-finals, and by this stage in the regatta, everybody is on their game. They have to have been to get through the quarterfinals, and we've also had all the time in the boats to get used to them. So for sure, the game is raised. I think we're going to have to pick our game up another level today to get through to the final.
Being able to sail the final day in Marstrand as a Swede, that's just a dream. So we said that let's just go out and have fun and see what we can do.
It's going to be interesting. I have to say, I mean, Bjorn's win over Ian in Korea perhaps coming into play here. Already, we're only on event 3 in this history between these two skippers on this 2012 Apari World Match Racing Tour. It looks to me with Bjorn off to the right at the moment, perhaps he has in the ascendancy in the manoeuvring.
Well, we just see here Ian's getting behind. There's contact. That's a big mistake by Ian Williams there. That's going to be Bjorn Hansen getting the advantage off that, after keeping the right there. Ian trying to turn these boats. These boats have no rudder lock, so you can actually spin them on the dime. Ian thought he could make it behind Bjorn, and there's a collision there, and it could have even done a little bit of damage.
Ian Williams coming right down. Bjorn does a nice job of his positioning here. He will force Ian to round. He ends up outside. It may be that Ian tries to get Bjorn to trap him one or other side. There, Bjorn trying desperately not to get overlapped. See the Apari logo there cutting through the water.
No, cut that.
Now can Williams doing an excellent job there.
Hey, cut. Just got to lock him here, okay, guys? Got to lock him in here.
Ian's talking about locking, that's just stopping Bjorn from being able to turn behind his transom.
Okay, go, full speed now.
Ian wants to hold Bjorn up and away from the finishing line, sail them in the wrong direction, and maybe be able to do his penalty turn, which is now that they're on the downwind leg attack. We might see Ian offload his penalty here.
Okay, complete. Go hoist. Okay, guys. going to be a jibe. Go hoist, put it up.
That was quite a good spot for Ian to take his penalty. He's done the tack and he's not ahead, but he's in a very powerful position on Bjorn, so he might be able to roll here.
So let's see what happens. Ian Williams sets his shoot. He's rolling his dirty air down onto Bjorn Hansen.
He's nothing.
Bjorn Hansen responding with a very aggressive laugh. Ian's shoot is set, Bjorn Hansen's isn't set. I think this is the race right here, folks, as Ian Williams comes across the top of Bjorn Hansen. Bjorn Spinnaker still not fulling. Now can Ian get the jibe in? You can see Bjorn Hardesty fanning the main, trying to waft dirty air onto the front of the luff of Bjorn Hansen's Spinnaker. The Spinnaker is still drawing. Now Ian Williams has to be able to get this jibe in.
Jibing.
3 or 4 lead changes. The boat's never really getting more than a couple of lengths apart. So excellent sailings from these two top skippers.
So first blood to Hansen. Williams was never going to go down easily and took the second match to level the scores, much to Hansen's frustration.
That's what you say. So if my bow is here, I'm leeward bow. I'm moving the bow up here. Am I still leeward?
Hansen wasn't phased though and showed that he is the form skipper, winning the next flight to take it 2-1. With Williams needing a win to stay in the competition and Hansen on match point, we join them in the pre-start of their 4th race.
No, weight down.
Okay.
Weight down.
Main out.
Williams doing a nice job of leading that build.
One more go.
Getting a nice speed jump on Ian Williams. Great kinetics there from.
And right down. Okay, up smoothly into the tack, guys. Cut!
Come on! Hey! He had all the time to go back there.
What's that? Wicked. That's on us. Let's get the jibe in. Jibe, make it happen.
Ian Williams getting a penalty there. Here we go, a split tack start. Bjorn Hansen off to the left, Ian Williams to the right. Superb start from both skippers.
Hansen led all the way to the finish, outsailing Williams and booking his place in the final.
2 really tight races with Ian. We knew that it was going to be really difficult. Fortunately, we did 2 really good pre-starts where we managed to put penalties on him in both of them. And then I think that we sailed the course very, very well. I mean, Gustav called the puffs perfectly and we actually managed to stretch out in both races. And it feels good to be in the final, so in Marstrand again. It's a dream for every Swedish sailor.
I think we just struggled in the close stuff all the way through the semi-final and getting the boat, trying to get it to build, and you know, I think that a few mistakes crept in because of that. So disappointed. Well done, Bjorn. It's going to be tough on the tour now. We're going to have to pick ourselves up and try and win the 3rd, 4th, and come back strong in Chicago.
The second skipper to make the final would be decided in the race between Match Race Germany winner Phil Robertson and 4-time champion Peter Gilmore.
Definitely a very tough opponent and knows how to match race, and he's always got another move to throw at you. So yeah, he's always a hard one to keep behind you, but you just got to keep your head down, keep working hard and do what you do.
They sail, you know, very well, quite loose, quite smoothly, and can turn the aggression on and off when they need to. You know, I think we're going to have to be on our top game and really work hard not to give them a sniff out there on the racecourse.
Gilmore took the first race after getting a good start and held on to the lead all the way to the finish. Robertson then hit back with some strong sailing to bring the tie to 1 win each. With the scores level, we join them in the pre-start of their 3rd match.
Phil Robertson still must be above that boat ley line.
Full speed.
Going towards the start now though. WAKA Racing still in control of the start. A masterclass in how to use the rocks from Peter Gilmore and WAKA Racing.
Up you go! Up you go! Up you go! Come on! Up! Up! Keep going up! Keep going up!
But here, in the final stages of this restart, Phil Robertson able to dive to leeward.
Trim for speed. We're going to get a penalty here.
That's a double!
Sorry?
There's two.
East for speed. What is it? Okay. Speed build.
So Peter Gilmore caught out in the final stages. He's now got 2 penalties. The umpire deciding he gained an advantage from that. Too significant that they want to make sure that he's behind.
Okay. Do the first.
So we're going to say Peter Gilmore here turning down.
Speed build. Speed build.
Into the penalty.
Okay. Second one down, we've crossed the centre line. We've crossed the centre line. We've crossed the centre line.
It's nice
Move
there.
your rules, umpire. He has to do it straight away.
Come on, that's badgering.
Oh, that is just, you're getting bullied, guys.
Peter Gilmore there.
Okay.
Very controversial decision by the umpires, deciding to take down the second penalty because he crossed the line of Phil Robertson.
And it's calmed down, we've got the lead, so.
Let's just see. He's going to lift in.
Here we see his WAKA Racing roll onto starboard.
Come on.
He's able to orchestrate an inside overlap.
Speed build.
Peter Gilmore executing his placement perfectly at the top of that beat, getting an inside position on Phil Robertson. That expansive style and smooth sailing coming to haunt the young New Zealander as he sheds his lead into the top of the beat. Phil Robertson always very relaxed, very casual, very smooth. He can be expansive, but another way of saying expansive is perhaps a little strategically lazy, and there that really coming back to haunt him. There we can hear Phil Robertson.
That's completely my fault, man. So sorry.
We're going to have to get our head in the game, and I think he's right.
Just short course tech. To me, it felt like a classic case of Peter Gilmore bullying you guys and you saying what you guys should do, and you did it. So. I mean, you've got to have your head in the game, you know? You've got to be talking about that. Is he doing it as immediate penalty now? No. Should have been your call. Like, immediate to me is straight away. Not attack and a jibe around my stern after. Yeah, okay. So you owe me a penalty. Well, it cost me a match, so... in a semi-final.
After the controversial umpiring decision, Robertson struggled to find his way back into the tie. Peter Gilmore of WAKA Racing sailed to victory in the 4th match, securing his spot in the final.
Oh, it was an absolute shocker, to say the least. And I think the umpires know, you know, they made a horrible call. And from what we could see, it's a classic era of just listening to the bigger man and listening to Peter Gilmore, you know. He bullied them into making that decision, and they decided to take both his penalties down at once, where it's impossible to do that. And I've never seen such a call before.
Phil did a very nice job of being a bit quicker than us and managed to hook us. And the rules say that, you know, we should get out of there immediately, and so we took effectively with his hook on us a double penalty, and by trying to maintain control out of the situation. And so in that double penalty, we then tacked off after the start, went into our first penalty, and as we came out of the circle, Phil tacked and we crossed his centre line. And so the new rule says when you cross the centre line after receiving a penalty, it'll be taken off. So straight away we got rid of both penalties and we were back in the race, and it was you know, just one of those sort of quirks of what could have been an unmitigated disaster end up being actually not too bad.
Thrilling semi-final here at STENA Match Cup Sweden. With Alpari World Match Racing Tour leader Bjorn Hansen and 4-time champion Peter Gilmore getting the better of their opponents, the final would be a mouth-watering duel. It's the climax of the event. Making it to the final and in with a chance of winning are Bjorn Hansen of the Mekonomen Sailing Team and Peter Gilmore of WAKA Racing. For both skippers, victory would mean valuable points on the overall tour leaderboard.
After coming to the semi-finals, we should just go out and enjoy the atmosphere here in Marstrand and have fun, and that's what we're having out there.
I think it'll be, it'll be fairly testing out there. It'll be a long, hard slog, and we'll have to lift ourselves for the matches, and then let's wait and see how it pans out.
We join them at the start of match 1.
Here we go, we're going to have a split tank start. Peter Gilmore is getting what he wanted, I think. He took the lead. He's dialing in towards the left. I think that's probably the better of the two starts.
4, having to tack off the start line like Bjorn Hansen did there. Advantage Peter Gilmore here.
So as both boats track up the beat, small edge to WAKA Racing in this first pre-start of the final here at the STENA Match Cup.
Main out, Tom. Okay.
Both boats are coming together, and we can see there perhaps less than a boat length between the two as WAKA Racing jibe onto the breeze of Bjorn Hansen as we come down into this finish. This perhaps the tensest area of the race so far. WAKA Racing will be affecting the breeze of Bjorn Hansen as we come down towards the bottom. There a luff from Bjorn Hansen. He's trying to force Peter Gilmore across. There's the luff.
Okay.
Strong communication from Bjorn Hansen, but he goes for the big luff. He comes back into the downwind. That's a green flag from the umpires, but Peter Gilmore, he is jibing across the front. There is another penalty. There's a yellow flag, so that is penalty on board Peter Gilmore. He is now going to have to try and shed a penalty in the dying moments of this race. So both boats now in the drop. We can see the pin. They are the wrong side of the finish line. Peter Gilmore in a strong position to try and hold Bjorn Hansen out here. It's all on for both boats. Bjorn just has to finish, but it's Peter Gilmore that has the advantage of the position. Here goes Bjorn Hansen. He's turning down inside. He goes for steel balls. He is turning down inside WAKA Racing. We are going to see contact, I think. Bjorn Hansen perhaps not having water. That's certainly the opinion of Peter Gilmore. But Bjorn Hansen is in and through. The umpires are looking at this. It's complete chaos on the water. The umpires unsure what to do. Peter Gilmore, I think, gesticulating to the umpires. So there goes Peter Gilmore. He now turns down. I've seen that completion of the penalty from Peter Gilmore. I think the umpire's deciding somehow no incidents during that period, but utter chaos down at the pin. What a finale to that matchup between these two skippers.
A dramatic finish as Hansen wins the first race by the seat of his pants. Match 2 and racing was neck and neck again, with very little between these two experienced skippers. Hansen held on to go 2-0 up and on to match point at his home regatta. So with local skipper Hansen sailing at the top of his game, Peter Gilmore would have to sail out of his skin to stay in the running for the top prize. We join the racing in the pre-start of the third race.
With 20 seconds to go, I think we will see Bjorn starting in that windward position, but for me, Peter Gilmore doing a better job of shutting down that start for Bjorn Hansen. Both boats right down by the pin before. There was a bit of pin bias, but this time Bjorn tacking onto port with far less space. It's going to be a very slow and crazy start for Bjorn Hansen. That's one tack, that's two, all in the dying moments of the pre-start. WAKA Racing dialing for speed the whole way through the final 20 seconds, so it's them that shoot off this left-hand end of the line.
Yeah. I like the right.
I really like Bjorn Hansen's jibes and the way he's constructing his crew to move together.
Okay, jibing.
been very, as you say, impressed with their sailing through the board. Perhaps one of the smoothest and strongest boat handling that we've seen. Yeah. Huge explosion of frustration again from WAKA Racing and Peter Gilmore. They want that left-hand side. Bjorn Hansen, I think, coming in and forcing Peter to take this other mark. Peter's gutted, and it's all on again. And from a 2 to 3 boat length advantage, WAKA Racing and Peter Gilmore.
What are we doing?
Across the castle top here at the STENA Match Cup. Consolations from Peter Gilmore to his crew. But it's Bjorn Hansen from Sweden that crosses the line to win the STENA Match Cup. The horns sound across the harbour, and rightly so. He is the champion. He sailed better than any other sailor here. The crews punch the air and they celebrate this win here of the STENA Match Cup. A historic year, a historic win. What a performance from skipper Bjorn Hansen.
That win was a fairy tale victory for the Swedish skipper in front of his home crowd here in Marstrand. Bjorn Hansen takes the trophy at STENA Match Cup Sweden 2012.
It's a fantastic feeling when you're sitting in the back of the boat and you have 4 guys who work like hell in front of you, and they do it more or less perfectly, so then it's quite easy to sit in the back.
I think we need to go back and have a long, hard think about it. You know, it's a bit early now, right after the race, but we need to start better. He was winning most of the starts. We won the 3rd start and managed to cross him, but he won the 2 other starts, and it came down to that most crucially.
It's obviously a great feeling to be at the top of the leaderboard. I mean, that has been our goal to do well on the total tour. But we also know that it's just early stages of the tour, so we need to put up a few more results on the scoreboard, and hopefully we can do a good result next week in Chicago.
So, a breathtaking end to a breathtaking competition. Here are the final results for STENA Match Cup Sweden. Bjorn Hansen and the Mekonomen Sailing Team extend their lead at the top of the overall leaderboard after 3 events on the Alpari World Match Racing Tour. Second place, Peter Gilmore of WAKA Racing sits just behind, with Ian Williams of GAC Pindar in 3rd. Next stop on the tour, the Chicago Match Cup.